This is NuMedia TV in London.
This is NuMedia TV in London.
Warning! The following program may contain graphics and video images that some viewers may find disturbing and traumatizing. Some of this violent content may be too graphic and intense for some people. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
In a time where trust in mass media is declining around the world, it has become even more important to support good, accurate journalism. Supporting such investigative platforms is defined as content that is ethical, independent, critical, and of public interest. Good journalism and investigative reporting cost money. In alternative social media platforms, SMP, good journalism ensures the possibility of a good society, an accountable democracy, and a transparent government. For continued free access to the best investigative reporting, we encourage you to consider making a modest support to this noble endeavour. By contributing, you are helping to sustain the publishing of digital content and ensuring information remains free, fair, and available to all. We try to make sense of the chaotic world around us. Your support is vital. NuMedia TV.
At NuMedia TV in London, we are non-traditional. We are what is known as alternative media practitioners. We differ from established or dominant mainstream mass media in terms of our content, production, and distribution. We aim to combine the flexibility of a fictive technique to deliver robust and delightful content. We foster participation, the strengthening of a civic attitude that allows our viewers, audiences, and followers to be active in some of the spheres relevant to daily life, and to put their right to communication into practice. This is our philosophy.
Content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this media or comments on this channel are those of the speakers or authors, and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos and audios may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. This channel's owner claims no copyright to said content. The broadcaster of this channel cannot be held accountable to the copyrighted content. The broadcaster of this channel is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify the accuracy of such information, but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this channel.
On this social media network, we aim to address Nigeria's socio-cultural and political problems in areas of national identity, conflict, poverty, endemic corruption, inequality, nepotism, terrorism, agitation, high level of child mortality, unemployment, poor health and education, collapsed in infrastructure, cultism, ritual killings, herdsmen crisis, tribalism and home violence.
As a precaution, this channel would also like to state unequivocally that we have all rights to use in all of our media broadcasts over 700 royalty-free tunes. These entire package was purchased and delivered by email. Tuesday, January 12, 2021 at 17:17 hours in London from soundsbest.com, and a paid subscription and program from Movavi Video Editor.
NuMedia TV. Beyond the headlines. News in its purest form. Live stream with confidence. Contact us on +44 208 180 0433, voice over internet protocol. WhatsApp +44 7467 634 822. Please like, subscribe, share and to follow us on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. The live stream will start soon.
Yes, hi everybody. Good evening. Good evening to you all. I sincerely hope that I meet you all well. Yes, I salute each and every one of you. Yes, today is Monday, the 23rd day of the 12th month of December 2024. And by that time, right in front of your screen, you can clearly see it is exactly 1941 hours here in London. Yes, I salute each and every one of you, and I am seizing this opportunity to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. It is Monday, the 23rd day of the 12th month of December 2024. Yes, the year is gradually coming to an end, but we must not all forget that this particular year 2024, we started it with some people, but unfortunately a handful of the same people that we started the year with, some of them are no longer with us. Some of them, they've passed away, and who knows, as we are talking to ourselves right now, some people are exiting the surface of this planet, and some people, some babies are born, are welcome into the world. So please count yourself as one of those lucky ones if you are still alive today, that the spiritual source of all creation, the I am that I am, Tetragrammaton Sabaoth, the Lord of Hosts, has got plans for you to be alive today. We don't know exactly what tomorrow holds for each and every one of us. So you must be honestly and truthfully be thankful to that superior being that no eyes had seen, nor any tongue spoke it. If any of your men of God or your pastors or your bishops says to you they've seen God in heaven, they're lying to you. Trust me. They're seriously lying to you. I'm wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Welcome to the stream. Yes, we are still on the same topic. Painful resentment. Sensational Nigeria. I've got some topics lined up for each and every one of you this great night. Nigeria at crossroads. I've been talking about this for a very long time, and the intro graphics that was displayed was that Nigeria that was at crossroads. We're going to talk about that. Let me see if I can carefully bring in that particular graphics that was made up just to buttress that argument. I'm going to display that right in front of your screen. Yeah, Nigeria at crossroads. I think it is in. I think it's in here. Yeah, I think I changed that destination. Yeah, I think I changed the destination. Yes, here it is. Nigeria at crossroads. Now, if you look at that very well, you will see Nigeria at crossroads, 1960 to 1963 on one end, with the picture of Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth, who passed away last year. Because at independence, the Queen was the head of state in Nigeria until 1963, when you lot then said to yourselves, obviously politically motivated, that you jettisoned Queen Elizabeth II as your head of state, and you opted out to become a republic in 1963. And then from 1967 to 2024, another crossroads. So Nigeria is currently in a fixed and at crossroads. The question that is on many people's mind is that, should we go back to the 1960-63 regional formation, to which Nigeria recorded a considerable amount of progress, obviously due to the regional formation of the country as at that time, when British handed down independence to you lot 64 years ago. Should we go back to the regional formation, or should we continue to go down the drain the moment the first military coup happened, to which the political structure in the country as at that time was truncated by the Igbo faction of the Nigerian military? Because when you lot begin to dig deep, you will clearly understand that the current crisis that we are having today is as a result of the truncation and at the same time misgovernance. then topped up by bad leadership. So within the painful resentment that I have been talking about for a while, we are going to look into the Christmas stampede in Ibadan, in Abuja, and in Enugu. You see, I've had the opportunity to listen to a lot of broadcasts by some other people and the way they've approached the incident. We're going to look into that, and I will be looking at the stampede from a different angle entirely, from a different perspective. And the angle at which I will be looking at the inferno, some of you may agree with me, you may disagree with me, but that's the way I see it. You see, we're going to look into the FAC allocation and at the same time the VAT pool according to the zones. We're going to look into that. And then the race towards 2027. Nigeria at crossroads. Before we do that, before we go into the meaty part, or rather the nitty-gritty of the topic of our discourse this night, first I want to wish Banker's Kitchen Alaja Yaisila in Dalston a very happy birthday. Banker's Kitchen Alaja Yaisila clocked 72 years on Sunday. No, on Saturday. On Saturday. And to God be the glory. By chance, myself and Benro Odebumi, Tokumbo Odebumi's brother, who brought me some fantastic suya all the way from Manchester, collected it, and then we branched off at Banker's Kitchen, and there, bam, we ran into Alaja's 72nd birthday, and we rejoiced, but I wish Alaja a very good health. She's been a fantastic mother to everyone, every one of us in the United Kingdom, all species of Nigerians. She's been a wonderful mama to each and every one. The only Banker's Kitchen in London that cooks food like home cooking, seriously home cooking. And again, I enjoyed Alaja's Amala and the Eforiro and you know, the fish, the meat, everything. So if you are new to London, you need to pay Alaja Banker's Kitchen in Dalston a visit and enjoy some of those fantastic home cooked meal, and you can afford it because you will enjoy it. I have enjoyed it, and that's Alaja and myself and his brother Olayinka. So we wish Alaja a happy birthday. We wish Alaja good health, plenty kudiowo, and many more years to celebrate. Thank you very much, Alaja, for taking care of each and every one of us. So when next, those of you in America, those of you in Sweden, in Europe, in Germany, those of you that are across the ocean from America, when next you are in London, Banker's Kitchen on Bradbury Street in London, Dalston is a place you want to have a taste of the kitchen. See, a lot of Nigerian celebrities and politicians normally pay visits, homage, to Banker's Kitchen in Dalston. And if they've not visited Alaja at Banker's Kitchen, they are not okay. I'm not going to mention some high-profile politicians, but yes. So congratulations, Alaja. We wish you joy. We wish you happiness. More years in good health and in perfect bliss. Thank you very much for all you've done for the community. Thank you, Alaja. God bless you. Okay, now guys, let's now, if you don't comment, guys, I will not be able to see you. If you are one of the silent watchers, it would be so sad. Unless you interact with me and you comment, that's when I can see you and I can acknowledge you. Darani Jojuwon, yes. Darani Jojuwon from Atlanta in Georgia. So Darani Jojuwon, when next you are in London, make sure you visit Banker's Kitchen at Dalston. Make sure you have a taste of Banker's Kitchen. Okay, guys, let's get started. Let's go there. You see, let me start this way before we go into the stampede. Yes, Patricia, good evening. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Before we go into the meaty part of what we want to talk about, I want to take you through memory lanes, and I want to show you this particular slide. Let me first of all bring in this one. It might be of interest to you. Now, if you look at that, democracy in Nigeria, it is not democracy, it is demon crazy. I still don't believe that you have a democracy in Nigeria. It is fa foul. Now you can clearly see the big mighty hand, the big mighty red hand of those ruthless blood-sucking parasites who called themselves politicians in Nigeria. You can see the way demon crazy is practically killing people, practically telling you lot that your life and everything means nothing to them. You are just a scavenger. Yet a queen, good evening. The big mighty hands of those blood-sucking parasites who maroon themselves as politicians sees you as scavengers. You mean nothing to them. They care less about you. They don't know who you are. It is not just only in Nigeria. It is across the entire black African continent. You mean absolute nothing to the people that were meant to be accountable to you. And not until when many of you realize that the politicians are meant to be serving you rather than you begging them, prostrating for them, not until when you realize that your individual lives, wherever you are, whether it is Nigeria, whether it is Zimbabwe, whether it is Ghana, not until when you realize the fact that they were meant to serve you until thy kingdom come, you will continue to be scavengers to them. And they will continue to exploit, demoralize, and then kill you lot. That's the case, I'm afraid. You see, "17 years ago," I'm going to bring it in. 17 years ago, I'm talking about 17 years ago. Just to highlight, just to tell you people how long I have been in this struggle to liberate all of you that are downtrodden across at least Nigeria, still thinking there could be hope and everything for the common man. 17 years ago, as I work ruthlessly and tirelessly to educate you lot. Plus all the atrocities and everything, all the gory pictures of the bombs, the killings in Nigeria at the time. My last child, who is 28 years old today, 17 years ago, when he was at year 10 at Cardinal School here in Hackney in London, wrote this poem as I was in the middle of production. Yes, Andrew Bello wrote this poem because of the way bombs under Goodluck Ebele Jonathan continued to be detonated left, right, and center 17 years ago. Young Andrew Bello then wrote me this poem, which says, every man, the title of the poem, according to him at the time, was War Will Never End. You can see the page and those that were showcased along with those that were in the diaspora, a department in the magazine at the time. He wrote as the title, War Will Never End. And in the first chapter of the poem, he said, every man and the youths of our land, he's referring to Nigeria, has been deceived by the rulers of our country. The so-called peace that we fight for will never be achieved like a child's true desire. And in the second verse, he continued and he said, then reality hits me like a furious lightning strike. The continuous bombardment of vicious shells. The young men cry for their limbs in the true safety of their home. 17 years ago, by a child that was still in secondary school, year 10 at Cardinal. Verse 3, he said, destruction and screaming, the noise that will always harm my ears. No man can escape this torture. But as soon as my fingers withdraw from my ears, there was silence. I couldn't believe it. Verse 4, he continued and said, I heard a cry of pain. The innocent men that were supposed to fight for our country had lost their physical beauty. They sounded like demons, thriving for a man's soul. No human should go through this pain. Verse 5, and the last verse. We were all deceived or forced to do this. I can never weep these images that rot my brain. The madness in me grows like a serial killer waiting for his next victim. My vengeance isn't for the enemy of the battlefield, but for the so-called leaders of my country. Andrew Bello is a young Nigerian diaspora. He's in year 10 at Cardinal Pole School in London. Guys, that was a masterpiece written by my son 17 years ago. That child of 17 years ago who was in year 10 at Cardinal Pole is now 28 years. And 17 years ago, when he composed that poem that was published in that same edition of my Hello magazine that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan seized for 3 months. And up till today, I've still got those magazines locked up in a garage somewhere in Lagos. 17 years ago. A boy who was in year 10, secondary school, wrote that masterpiece. Now, I want you to please tell me what has changed since that period. From that moment when that poem was written by Andrew Bello, that war will never end. One question I want to ask is Nigeria better off 17 years ago as it was, or is it worse off than 17 years ago? Painful resentment. Sensational Nigeria. It will be extremely hard for me to deviate away from that topic. You see, when we begin to dissect exactly what Andrew Bello wrote 17 years ago and begin to take another step forward, let's go into the stampede. The stampede in Ibadan. One occurred in Ibadan, to which some media outlet claimed 35 children were killed in the stampede. Some reckoned that 48 people die in crowd stampedes across Nigeria. And some recorded the death toll to be 67. 67 people dead in Nigeria after deadly stampedes within days of each other. One in Ibadan, another one in Abuja, then another one in Anambra State. Now, when you look at it, you are looking at the southwest, you are looking at the north, and you are looking out at the southeast. When you are able to look very, very carefully and you gaze your eyes into what is at play, it is a triangle. Southwest, southeast, north. I'm not going to join some people that believed they used those who were killed as human sacrifice. I'm not going to join the level of those people, because I've heard loads of people, some were blaming Olori Naomi Shilekonlan, that she used those children for sacrifice. I've listened to a lot of people, but I tell you something. What many of you have not addressed is the level of poverty, the poverty rate in Nigeria. See, not until when you begin to look at the poverty rate or the poverty level in Nigeria, then you will begin to see things the way it ought to must have been seen. In the past, I have in the past showcased the poverty rate from each and every of the geopolitical zones in the country. I've done that in the past. Now, if I probably bring it back in for you, let's see the root cause of the stampede in terms of poverty ratio. And I'm going to attack some other few people as well. Let me see if I have got this slide right inside here. Yeah, I have. And I'm going to bring it in. I have. Good evening, Ajani Babatunde Benson. Guys, the stampede in Ibadan, in Abuja, and in Enugu, southwest, southeast, and north, that formed a triangle, is in relations to this. Now, when you begin to address and look at the numbers that a handful of you people living in Nigeria are not really looking into, well, they reckon our population in Nigeria is 200 million. It could be more. There's no accurate record. Just guesswork. Now, they might be right in terms of the population. But, you see, when you begin to look at the likes of this one man, this man, when you begin to look at the likes of this man called Bello Metawale, you see, a former governor and now maybe Minister of State for Defense. Now, former governor of Zamfara State, Bello Metawale, with his, guess how many sons? 16 sons. 16 sons. One man. 16 sons. Just one man. And then when you begin to look at another picture of his with his female girls, here, 16 sons, mind you, and with his female girls, you are looking at 14 daughters. He's got 16 sons and 14 daughters. Altogether, one man, 30 children. Just one man. Bello Matawale, just one man. 14 boys, 16 boys, and 13 girls. One man. Good evening, Ani Bolaji. One man. Now, the first question I want to ask is why will such a man like Bello Matawale I'm just asking, somebody with 30 children, how much does he command or earn to be able to give a good, decent living to those 30 children? That same man with 30 children, that same man with 30 children is coming. It is loading. That same Bello Matawale with 30 children, guys, he was the same man that actually buried sparkling brand new cars underground, Zamfara state money stolen. That same man. You see, Alaji Aremo Sholade Alakufo, good evening. Let me bring it in from the main studio. Let me bring it in from the main studio. From the other studio. That same man, Bello Matawale, you see, with 30 children, I repeat, 30 children, yeah, where are you now? Just one man with 30 children. How do you expect him to feed, clothe, and educate those 30 children? How do you expect him to feed and then clothe them? You see, ó ti lọ hide, ìrọ̀lẹ́ ló ń pa, kò fẹ́ farahàn mọ́. And I saw it the other time. Ó ti sáré lọ gbé ẹ̀mí mi, ó ti lọ fara pamọ́, kò tún fẹ́ jáde mọ́. Irọ́ ló ń pa. Irọ́ ló ń pa, irọ́ ló ń pa. Let me go back again to the main studio. Let me come back again and then see if I can bring it back in. Yeah. Let me see if I can manage to bring it back in. Yeah, this is it here. Why ti mi wá ṣe rí ní ibẹ̀ yẹn? Okay, here we are. You see? Bello Matawale. Look at him. The same man with 30 children here are the fleet of brand new vehicles bought and secretly buried in underground tunnels by ex-governor of Zamfara State, Bello Matawale, to evade theft of state funds. You see, my Yoruba people will say, Omo bere oshi bere. Anibolaji, you said, let's post your comment. Said, those people are very wicked and selfish. And indeed they are. That same man with 30 children, 16 boys that I showed you earlier, and 14 girls. Stella Emera, good evening. Don't worry, some of you, your Christmas present will be coming. Probably maybe after Christmas and the New Year, you will get them. You see, we have a problem. Now, if one man can decide to father 30 children, how on earth do you want him to maintain those children without stealing? Is Bello Metawale not a wicked, cruel man? Part of what you have to pick up today and what the stampede in Ibadan, in Abuja, and in Enugu is all about is because of rogue politicians like this man. Now, I don't see anything wrong, to be very honest with you, because sarcastic, notorious, ridiculous, reckless politicians deliberately made you poor. You see, when we look at your population, if we begin to dissect very carefully the entire population, which is this one. When we look at that, when we see this, population 200 million people, and according to the World Bank, they reckon 47% of Nigeria's population lives below the international poverty line of $2 per day. Excuse me. Those that are shouting stampede, stampede, stampede in Ibadan, Abuja, and Enugu, they are not looking at these numbers. Approximately 200 million people, the population of Nigeria. And according to the World Bank, 47% of that 200 million people lives below the international poverty line of $2 per day. Now, I took this a step further. And when I took this a step further, I then look into other psalms. Such as this. Such as this one. So, if 47% of 200 million people are poor, that 47% of 200 million people, in real figure, that means 94 million Nigerians lives in perpetual poverty in Nigeria. And what do we mean by perpetual poverty? That means a cycle of financial hardship that traps individuals and families across generations. Can you see that? You can clearly see that. Thank you, Stella Emera. You said great job. Well done, sir. "94 million Nigerians lives in perpetual poverty out of 200 million people. You see, what happened in Ibadan, Abuja, and subsequently in Enugu, especially this Christmas season, number one, is as a result of bad leadership from 1966 to date. I will exempt those period of pre-independence, post-independence. From 1966, leadership failure, corruption, embezzlement, nepotism, tribalism, name them. Everything is enshrined into the society of Nigeria today. And nobody can contest that. You see, Nigerians don't equally love themselves. With what happened in Ibadan, Abuja, and Enugu, they don't love themselves. Now, today, 64 years after independence, a country that is full of abundance, but continue to struggle and continue to struggle and continue to struggle. I get extremely mad and frustrated when I see rotten images such as this. Very disgusting, rotten images like this. It's coming your way. I feel extremely disappointed and rotten in my brains when I see rotten, ridiculous images such as this. Where are you? Where are you? It's coming. Yes, this. This one. I feel disturbed when I see things like this. And that's been on. And that was exactly what Andrew Bello, my son, saw at the time. And then put up as a poem. We've been like this. At least, let's check it back. Let's say from 1999 till today. 25 bloody years of madness, of mental torture by ridiculous leaders spread across the nooks and crannies of that decapitated nation called Nigeria. I'm far more disturbed mentally when I begin to see imbeciles like this man. I repeat, imbeciles like him. Politicians will be voted out if they do not share their loot with their people. I feel extremely disturbed. Steve Osagie, good evening. Compliments of the season. Now, what is the root cause? What is the root cause of the stampede in Ibadan, in Abuja, and subsequently in Enugu? What is the root cause? Poverty. There was nothing like giving handouts throughout those moments when I grew up in Nigeria. I've never heard of charity. Charity was nothing. Charity was something that was strange to us in my own set when I was growing up. We don't know anything called charity. I only knew about charity when I came to this country many years ago. When I was growing up, charity is very, very strange because charity never existed. Parents normally work extremely hard. And Christmas time, it is either they go back to their country home where they came from originally, or those that will celebrate Christmas in Lagos. Some will kill ram, some will kill chicken, because it is that time of the year that family gets together and they enjoy meals together. They catch up of whatever they must have lost out during the year. There was poverty at the time, but that poverty was not as ridiculous as what is being recorded 64 years after independence. Yes, you heard. There was poverty. Now, you may ask me, who rendered those people poor? Those people rendered themselves poor. You see, the moment they continue to take bribes, money from politicians before they vote them, this is what they get. Some who criticize Olori Naomi Shilekonla, let me tell you, she's done the right thing. Out of that goodwill. And those of you that probably condemned Olori Naomi, that she should have looked into the risk factor, this, that. What sort of provisions have they made for emergencies, fire, ambulance? They tell you, say, ambulance day Nigeria, so. They tell you, say, ambulance day. Show me one ambulance. Show me one ambulance. You are comparing a civilized environment with an uncivilized environment. You see, the only mistakes I believed Olori Naomi Shilekonla did with Oriyomi Hamzat, knowing fully well that the country they were supposed to help is cursed. And the jinx that's been hanging on Nigeria is exactly what formed that triangle in Ibadan, Abuja, and Enugu. The triangular jinx. You see, I would have thought the likes of Oriyomi Hamzat should have advised Olori Naomi not to announce, number one, if I was in that position, knowing fully well that Nigerians are equally crazy people themselves. Especially, they are mad. Nigerians are mad and they are crazy. And knowing fully well that I want to deal with a mad, crazy people who are starving and who perhaps doesn't even love themselves, talk less of loving their neighbors. What I believed they should have done. If it is social media, Oriyomi Hamzat will announce it because of his media ability. What they should have utilized their media outlet to do is to ask people to phone in. For them to phone in or send a text message. If they can't phone in, look, they have money. Nigerians, they've got money for data. If they get probably 10 pounds, 10 naira worth of data, or 100 naira or 200 naira worth of data onto their handset, they can make a WhatsApp call to the studio. If they make a WhatsApp call to the studio or the organizers of the event will then send them a voucher and a specific time they can turn up in the studio to collect their gifts. The gift should never be announced. No money. It's a gift. The sponsor of the program should equally be kept confidential. You see, by sending them vouchers onto their individual mobile phone to turn up at a particular time on a particular date, you must have coordinated at least everything, and then there won't be that rush. Because number one, as they turn up individually, they don't know how many people. You've not announced the number of people. It's just to say some people will win voucher. You know the total number of everything. And then after the entire program, all the people, when you know your target is 5,000 naira, that is after the 5,000 people must have collected it. That is when you then make up another show that you will then begin to name them, because they've been on camera as they were collecting all those things, but they will not know exactly your own motives and why you want to do it and why you are inviting them to the studio to collect their present. You don't assemble crazy people who are bastardly hungry into one place. Not in a country like Nigeria that does not even respect the lives of ordinary human beings. For me, I would have thought that should have been the best thing to do. They got it all wrong. Olori Naomi got it wrong. Oriyomi Hamzat got it wrong. What sort of packages have they got for health and safety, the risk factor, blah, 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 blah. Forget it. Does Olori Naomi knows anything called risk factor? No, she doesn't. I believed that should have been exactly what they should have done to avoid whatever. But it's taught both Oriyomi Hamzat and Olori Naomi Shilekola a big lesson today. Listen, I stopped, minus the fact that if I want to give out, goodies from this end of the dispatch box to some of you out there, to which I'll make it known, just to make some of you happy. I stopped collecting donations for Nigerians, most especially during that COVID period, when you see different people, wow. And those people that we helped, and at the end of the day, they continue to move from one platform to the other. begging other people after we've raised money for them from this platform. There was a particular case. Don't let me go there. It will just be wasting our time on the stream. Christmas stampede. I still don't believe it is for a ritual purpose like some bloggers they've been anticipating. No, I don't think so. Oriyomi Hamzat and Olori Naomi misjudged, miscalculated, underestimated what their fellow Yoruba people will do on the day. And what is the root cause of it? The root cause is poverty, failure by the leaders, government's inability to cater for their own citizens. It's not that there are no poverty line in the United Kingdom. There are homeless people. There are beggars on the streets of London. But the beggars on the streets of London and the homeless people, probably out of choice, or perhaps some of them, they lost their businesses or something that threw them onto the street. But they've got options. The system can assist them. And if the system assists you once, and then you misappropriated or misuse whatever help they've given you just to get back on your feet, you'll be back on the street. There are some people like that. We have beggars on the streets of London. Those that are beggars on the streets of London, they still get social security benefit. Now, plus all the money that's been looted in that godforsaken country called Nigeria today, all the billions, all the trillions that's been stolen. What social security packages have they come up with? Any of the government, starting all the way from Gowon in 1966. What were the packages? All what they did from 1966 was to steal, loot. And part of that loot is this. When this man, Ali Undumi, now said politicians will be voted out of office. Can you imagine that crazy stuff? Ali Undumi, politicians will be voted out of office if they do not share their loot with their people. Rather than loot and share them with your people, why don't you create a system of social security for those people to be receiving, at least on a monthly basis? As if you're paying them salary. Nigeria can afford it. Make no mistakes. Nigeria can afford to pay social security benefit to every citizen. Don't forget the last campaign. Bola Tinubu said it, that fake dodgy Muhammadu Buhari will pay them social security benefit for not working. Do they fulfill it? No, sir. Those Dambo robbers, those Shegebutumu Banzanis. Was that fulfilled? Clear no. They're not interested in you. They know they will come in and they will rig elections. You will assist them. You see, those people to whom Olori Naomi was trying to help will even assist those rogue blood-sucking parasites to rig elections. Sometimes I'm not even sorry for Nigerians. Sometimes I'm not sorry for them. Do you know how many times before social media came into being, I've begged and begged and begged Nigerians, right all the way from 1999, to use their thumbs well on Ben television when election cycle comes to show. Nigerians are their own worst enemy. Ebi ò tí pa yín. Gbogbo yín sì máa ṣa oúnjẹ tó ti rà ẹ máa ṣà jẹ nínú dustbin táwọn olówó ń dànù. This 2025 we are going into, they won't have the time for you because they are planning for 2027. Now, for you to know and to understand how complex your system is in that location, that trapped location 9, let me show you this. Look at this. I'll show you this. It is on its way. Yeah. See. Now, look at this. No, not this one. Not that one. Oh, I think it is VAT. Yeah, it is this one. I want to show you this one first. Now, look at this. The disparity in Nigeria and the reasons why the North is rejecting the new tax reform bill. Look at the VAT pool, the value added tax pool, and what each zones of the Federation contributed and what each zone received in 10 months from January to October 2024. Look at the entire Southwest. The entire Southwest contributed to the center of government in Abuja 2.44 trillion naira. The entire Southwest. The entire Southwest is the biggest contributor of valued added tax to the central government. South-South, the oil-producing region, contributed 887.57 billion naira. Northwest contributed 161.75 billion. Northeast contributed 148.16 billion naira. North Central contributed 127.40 billion naira. Southeast, Igbo land, contributed 84.94 billion naira. Now, let's take them one by one. Southwest, the entire Southwest, who contributed 2.44 trillion naira, only received 685.91 billion naira of their own VAT. Excuse me. What about the South-South? South-South, who contributed 887.57 billion naira, only received 441.78 billion naira back. They lost half of their VAT money. Northwest only contributed 161.75 billion naira. And then look at how much they received. 463.86 billion naira. So that means the VAT from both the Southwest and the South-South is now feeding the other zones. Now look at Northwest. Northwest that only contributed 161.75 billion naira. Look at how much the Northwest received. Sokoto, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kebbi. They received back 463.86 billion naira. So, Northwest is Sharia law states in northern Nigeria. They are actually receiving the VAT from the bulls from the Southwest and the South-South. And then destroying the alcohol in the north. Now, Northeast only contributed 148.16 billion, but guess what? They received 334.43 billion naira. What about North Central, who contributed 127.40 billion and then received 331.30 billion naira? Okay, Southeast. They contributed 84.94 billion naira and then received back in return 276.89 billion naira. You see, robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't even mind the Southeast because we have huge concentrations of Igbo people in the Southwest. So perhaps what they are receiving back as a return in terms of that 276.89 billion naira from that shortfall of 84.95 billion naira is their VAT contribution in both the Southwest and the South-South. The day you begin to look at this, And then you begin to question all your governors. What are they doing with the FAC allocation they were receiving from the central government, from Abuja? Bola Tinubu never created hunger in Nigeria. Go and ask all your governors. Bola Tinubu is disbursing money to the state governments. Go and ask your governors, what are they doing with the FAC allocations? You see, illiteracy is a disease. See, when they provide you with a budget and you don't know how to read reports or write reports, this is the outcome. All of you are all blaming Bola Tinubu that Ebin Pagboboyi. Bola Tinubu did not never created hunger. Where is Buhari's rice? Their pyramid rice. Where? What have they done with their pyramid rice, to which they promised you lot that you are already sustainable in rice cultivation and production? You've been fooled. The day you got it right is the day many of you will make a headway. The money you have been collecting from those rogue parasites, blood-sucking parasites, is exactly what is telling on you as poverty and hunger today in your own land, to the extent that you don't even have anything left over. You cannot educate your children. They cannot educate your children. They sent their own children to the best schools around the world. They educate all your children in shambolic environment, not even fit for a goat in England to live or to sleep inside. See? Look at that. The way they educate your children. That's the way they educate your children. That is the way your children are educated. And you all love it. You all love it. Because if you don't love the way they educate your children, you should have done things differently. Differently. The way they educate your children, it is a shame. Big shame. Big shame. Big, big shame. Because you sold your individual rights for peanuts. And as such, when they get to power, they then boast, slap you all up in the face. See? How they educate your children. How they educate your children. That is the way. They educate your children. See? The way. They educate your children. See that? Decapitated schools. See? The children of the poor. It's none of their business. That's how they educate your children. Ask them for a budget. What is their budget for education? What is their budget for health? What is their budget for infrastructure? They don't have none. They don't have none. And that's why when you begin to see individuals like this with affluent people like this, people like this, like your Dino Melaye, people like that. What do you expect? It's coming. It's coming. Let me get rid of these ones. Let me get rid of these ones. It's still loading. I've got too much of them in the studio, so I probably will have to delete some of them. Let me delete that one too. Yeah. Let me see if I can bring it in once again. Yeah. That one. Yeah. See? Dino. You can see them the way they're flashing their posh cars. Things they can never take to heaven. It's not possible, you see. See that? And they flash all this in your face. And they continue to steal, and they continue to steal, and steal, and steal. That stealing never stops. Same story. All over Africa. The race towards 2027, the race is going to start next year. Make no mistakes. Bola Tinubu has got some jokers. If the North are going to disturb him, he's going to show them pepper. The North are already saying they're not going to vote for him in 2027. Maybe it's about time, number one, that Bola Tinubu should tell us that fake Buhari in Asorok that they all presented as Muhammadu Buhari. Maybe if the North decides that is the threat Bola Tinubu is going to give them, that he's going to declare the real Muhammadu Buhari died in Saudi Arabia. Two, if the North says no to Bola Tinubu 2027, Bola Tinubu probably will give them a kick in their stomach to now say, okay, no 2027, let's go regional. Let's take the country back to the way it was, 1960, 1963. Those were the two jokers that Bola Tinubu is going to use as a weapon against the North as from next year. And Bola Tinubu is not going to do it alone. I can honestly tell you, it's not the only one that will do it. Some people are already recruited for that purpose, and then the same people they've been subjected to and they've impoverished for such a long time will now come out again to now say, Bola Tinubu ó máa parí second term. Nigeria at crossroads. Today, Monday, 23rd December 2024. The time is 21:22 and we've been on air for the last 1 hour 52 minutes. We hope to bring the stream to an end exactly at 2 hours. Let's recap. Christmas Stampede. Ibadan, Abuja, Enugu. They formed a jinx, a triangular jinx over Nigeria. The race towards 2027. Nigeria at crossroads. Will Nigeria be better? The clear answer is no. Nigeria will never be better. It's going to get worse. Nigeria ò lè dá mọ́sẹ̀, kò ń ṣèpè. It can never get better. It's going to get worse and worse. Believe me. Next year, a lot of secrets will be revealed. I'm telling you the gospel truth. Loads of secrets will be revealed. Guys, let me seize the opportunity to thank each and every one of you who tuned in to watch tonight's live stream. Thank you very much. Like the page, follow us, subscribe, press the bell icon on YouTube so that you get a alert anytime we post a new video or we come on a live stream. Don't forget, give us that thumbs up so that Facebook, you see, I haven't seen any love at all tonight. You've just been listening very, very carefully. You've been listening, nothing. It is so sad that I talk. You guys, you are not even. Does that mean you are not appreciating everything I have been ditching out in terms of that quality content that you are not really getting either from the mainstream media plus all the breakdown in analysis? Okay, let me thank all of you. Patricia, Steve Osage, Stella Emera, Babatunde Ajani, Yeti Queen, Daranijo Jumo, and Alaji Aremu Osholade Alakufo. Listen, share the stream. If you think, yes, you're going to share it on your platforms for your friends and family to pick up. Thanks for coming in to watch the stream. We're going to do it again, probably a day after Christmas, on Boxing Day. if God permits, we're going to do it, and we're going to treat a different topic entirely. And have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you on Boxing Day. Until that time, take good care of yourselves and your loved ones. I wish you love, and I wish you the very best time of the season. Have a great evening, and God bless you. Good night.
NuMedia TV. Beyond the headlines. News in its purest form. If you have enjoyed this video or any of our podcasts or live streams, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe for more content like this. We make information simple. Your experience matters to us. Liberty Media Communications. Live stream with confidence. Fewness of words. Greatness of deeds. We empower people around the world to stand up for their social or ethical principles of freedom or entitlement. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video or live stream.